short practice to help with balance and focusing. So we're going to start in a seated position. So before you start this practice, you're more than welcome to take a few minutes to center yourself, to meditate, to focus on your breath. But as we get started today, we're just going to take a moment to sync up the breath with the movement. So as you inhale, you can draw your arms out and up, bringing the palms together above your head, and as you exhale, drawing the hands down to your heart. So 2 more times, just like that. As you inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach it out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. This time, as you inhale, opening the elbows out wide, broadening through the chest and the collarbones. And then exhale, drawing the elbows in towards each other, drawing your chin towards your chest, stretching the back of your neck and your upper back. And as you inhale, send the arms straight up towards the ceiling. Exhale, gently float the hands down. And inhale, reach the arms up, following your hands with your gaze. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, this time opening your arms out wide like a T. And exhale, crossing your left arm over your right, reaching your arms around as if you're giving yourself a big hug. So you could take a moment here to give yourself a gentle massage on the shoulders. And lifting your elbows so that they're shoulder height, getting a nice stretch between the shoulder blades. And on your next inhale, you can open the arms out wide again. And exhale, crossing the opposite arm over top this time, so right arm over left. And feeling this nice stretch in the back body. Maybe giving yourself a gentle massage here. And then inhale, sweep your arms all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart. So from here, placing your hands behind you, your fingertips can face out as you bring your feet in front of you about the width of your mat, or a little bit wider than your hips, here with your knees face up towards the ceiling. So from this position, take an inhale, lifting through the heart, through the sternum, through the chest. And as you exhale, drop both knees over to the left. And inhale, draw both legs back up. Exhale, drop the legs over to the right. Feeling a nice stretch through the hip and the IT band. And inhale, draw back up to center. This time as you drop over to the left, take that right arm now and reach it all the way up and back. Finding a nice stretch through the side body, through the shoulder. And exhale, release it all back to center. Take a breath in. And then exhale, over to the opposite side, drawing that arm up and over. And release it back to center. This time as you take it over to the side on your exhale, option to stay here with that reach or lift the hips, sending the hips forward, opening up through the front of the hip flexors. Inhale here. Exhale, release it all down. Rolling through to the other side, same options here, reaching the arm up or lifting the hips, finding a slight back bend and an openness through the whole front body. Exhale, release. So take a moment here and now from this place you can turn the fingertips so that they face towards your body. So wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees bent in front of you. And as you inhale, pressing into the feet and the hands, begin to lift the hips, send them towards the ceiling, finding reverse tabletop, or option to find reverse plank extending the legs out straight. So engaging the glutes, stretching through the front of the hips, opening through the chest and the shoulders. As you exhale, slowly lower back down. Drawing your hands around to your shins. As you inhale, send your chest forward, gazing up. And exhale, rounding through the spine, drawing chin to chest. Finding a cat-cow movement here in our seated position. Inhale, opening through the chest, drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears. And exhale, rounding through the back, sending belly button into spine. Inhale, and exhale, feeling the tilt of your pelvis as you roll forward and back. One more time here, articulating the whole spine. And then once you come up to your seated position with your tall, straight spine, you can swing the legs over to either side or roll over the ankles, however you can, finding your way into an all-fours position. And so from here, if you have blocks or thick books or anything that you use as props, you can bring them into the top of your mat. And so from our tabletop position here, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Drawing the core in, finding that stability. And we'll take a second to check back in with the breath, finding this focus and awareness of the body. And then you can extend your right leg straight back behind you, coming on the big toe, and taking a moment to shift forward and back, flexing through the foot, getting a nice stretch through the arch of the foot, through the toes, through the ankle joint. And also a nice stretch through the calf here. And then when you're satisfied, you can draw that right knee in between the hands, placing that foot between the hands, walking it up however you need to. And checking the alignment with the front knee, so always making sure that that front knee is tracking right over the front ankle. And you can come onto your fingertips here or onto your props if you have them, so that you can roll the shoulders back, opening through the chest. And taking a moment here to get a nice stretch through the hip flexor. And as you inhale, reaching your arms all the way up. So really finding stability here as you draw your right hip back and your left hip forward, squaring off the hips and zipping up through the core, through the abdomen, so engaging the core so that your pelvis tilts underneath you and you get a nice stretch through the front of the quad and the hip flexor. So that sounds like a lot. So just maybe taking one of those cues and thinking about that here. In this lunge, pressing firmly through both feet, the top of the back foot and the bottom of the front foot. And finding this stretch, however you can get there. And as you inhale, maybe reach the arms back up. And exhale, release them back down to frame the front foot. Coming back to your fingertips. And then tucking your back toes, lifting your back leg, planting the palms. Send the right foot back to meet the left in a high plank, or option to be on the knees. Engaging the core here, finding strength, stability. And then as you exhale, you can lower down to your knees if you're not there already. Untuck the toes, coming back to tabletop. And then send the left toes straight back behind you. Take this forward, rocking motion, working through the foot and the calf. Really pressing down through the fingertips, spreading the fingers out wide, letting your weight distribute evenly through your hands. And then drawing that knee up up towards your chest, using the strength of your core to place the foot between your hands. So again, checking that front alignment here and using the blocks or your fingertips to find this lift through the upper body as you feel this rooting down, this anchoring through the low body. Sending your hips towards the floor, feet really pressing firmly into the mat. And as you inhale, reach the arms up, shifting your weight into the back leg so that you can square off the hips. Zip up through the front of the core and find that nice stretch not only in the hip flexor but all the way through the front quad, the front of the thigh. Take a moment here, feeling this nice stretch, coming back to your breath. And inhale, reaching the arms up, finding this lift. And exhale, fold it down. Tuck the back toes. Send the left foot back to meet the right, planting through the palms, finding your version of plank. Engaging through the core, finding this inner fire, inner strength. And then exhale, lower down to the knees. So coming to an all fours position, you can gently tuck the toes and begin to straighten out your legs, sending your hips up and back, finding a downward facing dog. And then walking your hands gently towards your feet. Finding a forward fold, let the neck be heavy. And then as you inhale, bend the knees and sweeping the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So moving into a little balancing play here. We'll take one more stretch to open up the pecs before we move into dancer pose. So as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, hands to heart, and this time crossing your hands over your chest so that your hands are resting on your shoulders. And then sweeping the bottom arm out from underneath you and sending it straight back behind you. So gazing back towards those back fingertips, really engaging through the core to keep the low ribs in. Strong foundation, opening through the side of the shoulder and through the chest. As you exhale, circle that arm up and over, crossing it back over your chest, feeling the whole shoulder girdle. And then inhale, sweep the bottom arm, the opposite arm straight back behind you the other way. Gazing back behind you, active through the arm. And then exhale, rolling the arm all the way back up, crossing it over your chest. And then you can release the hands down by your side. So as we move into dancer's pose, you can always have a wall nearby to use as a little extra support or balance. And so we begin to root down through the feet, spreading the toes wide. And as we shift the weight into the left leg, we're doing so without sending the weight into the hip, because that's shifting our whole center of gravity off to one side, which will make it more difficult to balance. So instead, thinking about sending your weight straight down through your foot and into the floor will help give you that nice, strong base. So shifting your weight to the left, begin to bend the right knee and reaching for that right ankle with your right hand. So if this is inaccessible, you can also use a strap. So looping a strap around the front of your ankle and holding the strap. So wherever you are here, finding your balance in this pose, taking it one step at a time, and taking the time to find your gaze in front of you, non-moving, to help you balance. Staying lifted through the chest. The goal is not necessarily to find a particular shape here, but really just about thinking about kicking the foot really into the hand. That'll give you that stretch through the shoulder and through the back and the leg. So as you do that, as you really begin to kick foot into hand, maybe you extend your left hand out in front of you as a counterbalance. And if you feel stable here, you can gently tilt it over, finding your version of this pose. So always a support in the bottom leg, never locking through that knee joint. A slight bend. Take a few moments to breathe here. And then gently, with control, slowly, without placing that foot back on the floor, bringing your hands to your hips. And then crossing the right knee, the one that you had behind you, over the left knee, finding eagle. So you have options here as well. You can cross that knee over just once, bringing the big toe to the floor to help you balance. Or you can also just cross the ankle over the left knee, finding this figure 4 shape instead. Or wrapping the knee around and also the ankle. So finding your version here, right leg over left, and then crossing right arm underneath left arm. Again, just crossing at the elbows or also at the wrists. It's really important here in these balancing poses to find your gaze, to focus on what's happening in this moment, to not think about your to-do list. So take a breath here. And then slowly unravel the hands, bringing them to your hips, and then dropping the right foot forward, back down to the floor, bending through that knee. And as you do so, reaching the arms up and over, clasping the top wrist with your fingers, and finding a nice side body stretch here to release out of it. As you exhale, release everything, can come back to standing. Take a moment, shake it out. Reset. You can take the arms up above your head and down to your heart to recenter yourself. To take that whole sequence on the other side. So again, shifting the weight to the right, not down into the right hip, but down into the floor. As you lift the left leg, bending at the knee, clasping that ankle behind you. So zipping up through the core, not dumping your chest forward and arching through the back, but really staying engaged through the core to help you find that stability. So again, pushing foot into hand as far as you can first, and then maybe extending forward and tilting over, still engaged through the core. This is not just a passive stretch, but really engaging your whole body. Stay here for a breath, and if you fall out of it, receive the invitation to come back in, to try again. And then gently releasing hands to hip and crossing left knee over your right, finding your version of eagle on this side. Wall is a great tool to have. And then crossing your left arm underneath your right. Take a moment to breathe. Spread it through your toes. And then gently unravel, letting that left leg continue through to the floor, planting and bending through that knee, reaching up and over. Releasing through that stretch. And then gently unravel. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Congratulations, the hard part is over. Exhale, hands to heart and all the way down, forward fold. Bringing your feet out wide, knees can bend here. Shaking your head yes and no. Releasing your hands to your elbows and maybe swaying side to side. Releasing through that low back stretch. And then plant the hands and gently walk the feet back to downward facing dog. Take a moment just to pedal out through the feet, bending one knee and then the other. And exhale, lowering down to the knees. Bringing the two big toes together and sending your hips towards your heels, finding child's pose. Forehead can rest on the mat or on a block or a book. Take a few breaths here just to cool down, to slow down the breath. And on your next inhale, walking yourself up. Sending your legs over to one side, making your way however you can to a comfortable seat. And we'll close out today with a gentle twist. So as you inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bringing opposite hand to opposite knee, that back arm behind you, gazing towards your opposite shoulder. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, twisting the opposite way, gazing behind you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Taking just a moment here to thank yourself for taking some time to move, to focus, to center in. And hopefully you enjoyed this practice. So thank you so much. Namaste.